What's going on, everybody? It is sold separately. We're here to talk about one of the Mysterios, or maybe a Guerrero. Who knows? Who really has the Latino heat? I'm unsure. It's Dominik Mysterio special. We've got some fun stuff coming up. And I've, of course, got my esteemed colleague, Anthony Ricciardi, head of opinions here at Wrestling Republic, hanging out with me. Stoked to have you as always. Let's get into some Dom.
Yeah, this is kind of a fun one. It's a shorter one, but it's a fun one. I do think WWE missed the opportunity, not doing Custody of Dom 2 this past year at SummerSlam because you could have had Liv and Rhea fighting for the custody of Dom, just to have Michael Cole say, for the second time in history at a SummerSlam in a ladder match, the custody of Dom Mysterio is up for grabs. Like there was so much opportunity to do that, and I really wish they would have. But let's get into one of Dom's new T-shirts that has recently come out.
Absolutely. I'm stoked to talk about it. We have Latino Heat reference, of course,
Yes,
to the late, great Eddie Guerrero.
yes,
This is a fun t shirt. This is a great release.
yeah. This is the Latino cheat shirt, which it's the Latino Heat era for Eddie is so iconic because to me that was the point where he went from the guy that they kind of got from WCW that was a good hand to wait a minute, this guy, this is the best talent out of the Radicals, because the belief was when the Radicals were brought over, from a lot of fans' perspective, Benoit was the golden goose. Benoit was the WCW champion when he jumped. So this was like the big deal. But obviously, when everything was said and done, Eddie became the true goat, if you will. And the Latino Heat run with China is some of the most iconic, best TV on TV. Eddie going, he went to get his GED and take China to his prom. Like it's some of the most iconic stuff. The Mamacita, and Ray and Eddie were like brothers, straight up. Outside the ring, they were like brothers. And when you look at it, Eddie was kind of like an uncle to Dom growing up. And you have that, and there's that strong bond there. So in a lot of ways, he's paying tribute to Ray, even though they're feuding. And he pays tribute to Eddie. So this run, whether it was with Rhea originally or now with Liv, is very much reminiscent of the Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero era. Because if you remember, and I know Clark remembers this, what broke up Mamacita, China,
Yeah,
and Eddie was Eddie cheating on China.
right.
So it's kind of just the play on that. So yeah, I think this is great. I don't know if I would have bothered with the Daddy Dom on the back.
Yeah,
I
that
don't.
is
I do,
interesting. I feel like that's such a nod to the Liv Morgan aspect of the storyline, which I
yeah,
appreciate, but I don't know necessarily as a T-shirt that it benefits the entire
yeah.
aesthetic.
To me, I think you're better off with just the front, because I mean you have the DM on there. So to me, that's the
Right,
Dom Mysterio. Obviously the next image shows you the comparison between the two shirts.
right. Which let's get that angle right. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Perfect production.
So
Monster shout
yes.
out.
So obviously they're very identical in a lot of ways. The font, obviously, Eddie's has the flowers, which was synonymous with him and
And
China
China,
at the
of course.
time.
The
Uh,
roses,
yes, the roses.
the red rose.
But the Eddie one did not have anything on the back, from what I recall.
I
Um,
believe it was blank on the back.
so
Maybe a
yeah,
WWF or I'm not F WWE logo.
Maybe they usually put those
Maybe.
inside. They usually put them inside the shirt. I don't think anything
Yeah.
was on the back.
No, there was that weird phase though in the early 2000s where they had them on the back of the collar.
They did, especially when they had like a back print design was
Yeah.
common. CM Punk still does that to this day. CM Punk shirts still have like Punk in the back or whatever.
Yes.
There's some of them that still do. Now they
When
kind of
that's what made me think of it was actually the fact that it's Daddy Dom. It's bigger letters than normal, but it is like
yes. Yeah, the Daddy Dom thing, like to me, that for me, from my perspective, I'd be less willing to buy that shirt because the Latino cheat shirt, you fine. Like the Daddy Dom thing, I have a feeling you're going to get too many questions from people
yeah, it's
if
like
you're wearing that
it's a
around.
weird shirt to wear publicly. That is a great point. Okay.
You know, yeah.
Speaking
So
of things that you're not going to use in public, let's talk
yes,
about the TP, the
uh,
toilet paper.
I have to say, I think this is a brilliant move. I am stunned that they have not done more of that. As a heel, to have your own toilet paper.
Yes.
And it's the fact that and WWE is notorious for this based on people like Kevin Nash have talked about it, other people. Like WWE sends you an itemized list every quarter and it shows you every piece of merchandise that you were on or a part of and how much money you got for each thing. The fact that if they still do that, if Dom gets the thing and it literally goes toilet paper, that to me is hysterical. Just as the fact that, like, wait, I made $7,000 this month in this quarter based on toilet paper that was sold with my likeness on it. I think that's great. I mean that it's creative, it's different. I'm surprised they have not done more of it. Like I said, I think Roddy Piper would have loved that back in the day. Uh, Eddie, I think, would have gotten a kick out of it. My question would be, does Dom use it in his house? Like, does Ray use it? Do you get a case of that? Do you got to buy that? Do you get it
I
at a
mean,
discount?
it's just pure comedy. The whole thing, like, it's golden. The
Yeah.
toilet paper aspect of it, like, it's one of those rules that doesn't get used.
Honestly, like Clark,
It's so funny.
that's one of the things. Like you're synonymous for getting heel heat at different times at the daily.
It's
Knowing you,
genius.
knowing you, you would totally do this with Wrestling
Yeah,
Republic merchandise.
do not care in the least. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would die. It's absolutely golden.
By the way, we should probably get a role for Jordy because it's
Yes,
I mean, is it Jordy?
Jordy does need a role. There's no doubt about it.
I think if WrestleMania 41 happens, I think we need to give him a role to go home with.
Absolutely, absolutely. I gotta say though, that does probably bring us to the end of today's show, doesn't it, Anthony?
Yes, it's like we said, it was going to be a very
Quick,
short one.
quick, fast episode. Dom Mysterio special. Check it out. He's on the run of his career. We all know that. There's no
Yes.
doubt about it. And the merch is reflecting such. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please
No.
do. Check out Sold Separately every single week, as well as everything else we have on Wrestling Republic.
Mhm.
The daily broadcast, take it to the table. We got all kinds of good stuff on behalf of me, Clark Taylor, and Anthony Ricciardi. Have an excellent day, and thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we will talk